Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I have the introduction to my Pan That Palette roulette style project, if you will. If you don't know, last year I did a Pan That palette. I panned my Nable Dreamy palette, and at the end I introduced the ABH Nervina palette to also be my Pan That palette. And I had the full intention of panning that this year in 2024. And I realized I got really bored of it. Like in general, I got really bored with trying to use up the same palette, using the same eyeshadows over and over and over. So I've been watching My Life as Mags. I will link her down below. And she has been doing Pan That palette, but roulette style. So she chose 1 or 2 or 3 palettes to focus on. And then throughout the year, she would roll in other palettes, like change it up. And I thought that was a great idea because it allows me to focus on a palette for a while, see how much use I can get out of it, try and hit a couple pans, try and maybe possibly complete a few shades. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but who knows. And then roll my palette out and roll something new in. So I have been categorizing my palettes for the seasons. So I've made a list with palettes that feel very wintry to me. Then I have spring palettes, summer palettes, fall palettes, and I have a couple palettes that I feel like I could use throughout the entire year. And I want to try and focus in all of my projects that have eyeshadows in them to pick eyeshadows or palettes to work on that kind of correspond with the season, in hopes that it will just work better for me and I won't get bored as easily, and I won't have to do like full-on summer pink, yellow, orange looks in the dead of winter. That's a long explanation, but I hope you get it. Let's check out what palette I chose to work on. I actually have 2. I have one palette that's just ready, and then I combined some single eyeshadows from a palette and then from my singles collection to create a custom palette to work on as well. Let's start with the already ready palette. This is my Beauty Bay Midnight palette. This is what it looks like. So we have a lot of blues and then some purples. So here you have darker purples and blues, then some mid-tone blues and a light purple, and then some lighter blues and a light matte sort of lilac purple. Now I'm kind of scared, honestly, looking at this palette. This has been in my project level up. I think it was level 3, and that already was quite a challenge, but it did make me realize that I need to work on this palette to make sure that it is worth keeping, because when I was working on it for project level up, I really struggled with some of these shades in here. I feel like I should get a feel for this, make up my mind if I would like to keep this palette. I have been toying with the idea of depotting some of my palettes, especially the Beauty Bay ones. I have this one, the earthy one, and the berries one. There's just some shades in all of them that I do not care for. Then I have the Beauty Bay Naked Tutorials palette, which is such a big bulky palette. I just don't like using that because of the packaging. And again, there's shades in there that I do not care for. So I have been toying with the idea of depotting some, if not all, of my Beauty Bay palettes. I'm not really convinced yet. So long story short, we're rolling this in. I'm just gonna see how much I can use this. I've used it today on my eyes. Maybe you can tell I have a purple look going on. So I've used this matte shade all over the lid. I've used this in the outer corner, then put that over top in the outer corner. Didn't really like that shade. It's a weird shade. It looks dark purple. It is kind of blue. I don't know, it looks kind of bruisey, honestly. And then I put this on the inner part of my lid. This is it. We're going to work on this. This is what it looks like now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pans in this already. Honestly, don't think I will hit new pans, but I hope I can expand some of the existing pans in here. And then I made my own custom palette. I was toying with the idea of rolling in the Colourpop Nude Mood palette, but I didn't quite love all of the shades in there. So I've decided to make my own. It is a mixture of all different brands and sizes, as you might be able to tell. So on the first row, I have Colourpop shadows. These are all 4 out of the Colourpop Nude Mood. We have the shade Bluffin', then the shade Wink Wink, then the shade Bare to Wear, and this is the shade Put On Airs, or something like that. So those 4 shadows are from the Nude Mood palette. I have 1 pan in Bluffin'. I mean, I'm gonna expand that. Try and use this up, honestly, because I could use that every day to set my primer. This one had a pan, and I've scraped some out to Franken, so it's kind of a mess, but you know what. And then these 2 are barely used. So Bare to Wear is currently in my Panlo's eyeshadows. I'm not gonna roll that out of there. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it in for 2 months in that project and probably roll it out, because I don't see myself hitting pan in 2 months, and I would prefer to work on something else, and I can just keep working on it in this project. And then the gold one is pretty much unused, honestly. So that's that row. Then the middle row is all Glam Shop except for this one. This is the remainder of the shade Dogma from my Nable Dreamy palette. It is the only shade that I kept out of that palette. I depotted all of them and decluttered a few, I think about 2 or 3 that I did not use. This one, however, I love, so I put it in here. And then the Glam Shop shades are Colored Smoke, Satin, and Millennium. And I've put this blue in to, you know, pair with the Beauty Bay Midnight palette. So I might switch that one out at a later time when we're done working on the Beauty Bay Midnight palette, but who knows. And then the top row, these 2 are Nable singles. This is Atrophy and this is Circle. I was unsure of putting this one in. This is very mauvey pink toned, which is not my favorite, but it could work with my purples and blues. And this is another purple shade from Glam Shop. It doesn't have a name, comes out of a palette. I don't know what it was called in there, but it's a purple shimmer. And again, I thought that would work nicely with the Beauty Bay Midnight palette. So that is what I'm going to be working on. Again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pans in this palette. I had a pan in Colored Smoke, but I dug my nail into this right before filming, so I had to press it in and the pan got lost, but it's whatever. Can I hit more pans? I honestly think I could hit pan in that blue shadow, and I could re-hit pan in this weird messed up Wink Wink shade, but that isn't really my goal. I just want to get use out of these shadows and just see what damage I can do, and hopefully not get bored of my eyeshadows as quickly as I normally do. You know, it's just hard for me to focus on the same thing for a whole year, so I'm hoping that this way I can keep myself interested and engaged and, you know, get some more use out of whatever I'm working on, instead of doing it against my will or not doing it at all anymore. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I will hopefully see you in my next video. Check out my description box for everything that you need to know about this project, or maybe want to know. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!